Today, I want to talk about how AMC, GameStop, and specifically Roaring Kitty are about to break the entire stock market. This week, we've seen tons of market glitches, making some of the largest companies in the entire world absolutely worthless. And Roaring Kitty may be about to break the system. So stay tuned and let's make some money. And later in the video, I want to go over the massive back-to-back 177% trade and the 46% trade from the Millionaire Mindset Trading Group. But first, I want to dive straight in with the key information. So, the Cabesi letter tweeted saying, why does the market always break when GameStop rises? In January 2021, brokers halted buy orders on GameStop and AMC and other meme stocks after the meme stock rally began. Then, on the 14th of May 2024, GameStop and AMC halted a total of 38 times in one day as the rally accelerated. Then on June 2nd, 2024, Robinhood suspended overnight trading in GameStop due to volatility. And on June 3rd, the New York Stock Exchange saw multiple $100 billion plus stocks falling 99% due to a technical glitch. And they ask, saying, is this a coincidence? Now, obviously, we've seen tons of price glitches over the last few years, specifically in AMC and GameStop. Not a day goes by where there isn't something wrong with the market cap, with the float, with the current price, or something else to do with those two stocks. But very rarely does that data problem spread to other companies in the market, other than in these few specific days when AMC and GameStop are running. On June 3rd, you may have seen some of these massive companies like Berkshire Hathaway and gold ETFs falling 99%. Berkshire Hathaway fell from over $500,000 per share to less than $200 per share, and orders were actually filled down at that price. Now, those orders were reversed and the New York Stock Exchange cancelled all of those trades, but one has to question, why are those problems happening in the first place when AMC and GameStop run? And as Quiver Quantitative tweeted, it seems the Massachusetts securities regulator is trying to slow down that volatility and curb the rise in AMC and GameStop. They tweeted saying the Massachusetts securities regulator is probing the trading activity of Roaring Kitty, something they did obviously back in 2021, and it seems they're going to do all over again. It wouldn't surprise me if Roaring Kitty ends up being investigated by Congress once again for literally doing nothing wrong other than exercising his freedom of speech and telling people which stock he's purchased. They've said we've caught dozens of suspicious insider stock trades by politicians, and yet none of them have been investigated. And what's worse is time and time again, we see the owners of these hedge funds going on the mainstream media to talk up their book. Now, what that specifically means is if somebody is, for example, shorting the S&P 500, they might go on the mainstream media and say the market's going to crash, interest rates are going to rocket sky high even further, and you should sell the S&P 500 that you're currently holding, dump out your retirement account to save yourself. Obviously, if everyone did that, the market would crash and they'd make tons and tons of money on their short position. So they're effectively manipulating the market to benefit themselves. Now, Amit tweeted saying, is it just me or is this whole E-Trade potentially removing Roaring Kitty like legitimately insane? He said Warren Buffett literally got permission from the SEC to not have to disclose a secret stock he was accumulating for 8 whole months. But yet, Roaring Kitty bought a stock, showed his position on social media, using his right to free speech, and didn't tell anyone else to even buy GameStop shares, just showed his shares, saying if anything, people like Bill Ackman have manipulated stocks much more aggressively by coming on CNBC and just talking their book while making moves behind the scenes, exactly what I just explained. He said if a broker can remove an individual trader because they disagree with his trades and can't even prove manipulation, what precedent are they setting? And said it'll only make more people want to buy GameStop shares even more. As I mentioned earlier, I wanted to go through 2 trades that we took today on MLGO for 177% and 46% on SOBR. So I messaged the group saying at the open, I'll be watching MLGO for the break of $5.43 and SOBR for the break of 50 cents, and also ANNX for the break of $7.50. Now this is why I like my group. I don't alert 150 stocks all at once and get excited when one or two run. I alert a minimal amount of plays. Here we can see I alerted 3 plays. ANNX never broke $7.50, so no one ever jumped in, and both MLGO and SOBR ended up running. In the group, there's not hundreds and hundreds of trades being called with tons and tons of losers and winners sprinkled in as well. In this instance, there's literally 3 trades called, 1 trade we didn't even enter, and the other 2 trades were both winners. And we can see here when the market opened, MLGO broke that $5.40 region and it ran. It ran straight into a halt pushing to $8.52. It ran further to $12.95 and it ran further again up to $15 per share for a 177% gain. SOBR was the same. It broke that 50-cent level when the market opened, pushed up to 60 cents, pulled back to the entry, but then exploded higher once more to 73 cents per share for a 46% gain. And here we can see Freak Deline played sober, buying in slightly early at 45 cents, selling at 52 cents, and Kaz played MLGO. So guys, be sure to join the Millionaire Mindset Trading Group for these kind of 100% plus gainers every single day using the link in the description below. Now, Short Destroyer or the Professor has hypothesized something that Roaring Kitty or Keith Gill might be about to do to break the entire system. Saying, holy Jesus, he's going to DRS his shares. Saying Keith Gill or Roaring Kitty will transfer his GameStop position out of E-Trade into ComputerShare. If E-Trade were to suspend Roaring Kitty, one begs the question where he would go and where he would take his shares. Would he go to Webull or Robinhood? Highly unlikely. Maybe he might go to Moomoo, or maybe, most likely, he would DRS those shares into ComputerShare. And could you imagine a massive 5 million share inflow, plus everything else generated from him DRSing those shares, aka everybody else holding GameStop that hasn't yet DRSed, that would be convinced to DRS because he has, and the kind of impact that would have on the system. Especially as Unusual Wells has tweeted saying it does not look like Roaring Kitty has exited his GameStop position or his GameStop calls. Unusual Wells obviously goes through the data, looks at the large purchases and the large sales. They picked up his large purchases the other week when he was buying round lots of 10 or 20,000 options at a time, and they have not identified any large sales at all. Saying that Roaring Kitty is now up 110% on those options, or up to $150 million. Robert has also tweeted saying the real question remains is now how many floats have they actually sold over and how bad is it? Have they sold the float for GameStop and AMC once over, twice over, 5 times over, 10 times over, or how much more? When AMC and GameStop squeeze, is it going to bring down a few small hedge funds? Is it going to bring down some of the largest hedge funds? Is it going to bring down some of the largest banks? Is it going to bring down the stock market? Or is it going to bring down the entire financial system? I think this really is the point we're now getting to. The squeeze seems closer than ever, volatility has increased, and volume is back on the up now that Roaring Kitty has returned. The price is trending in the right direction, and if these shorts do indeed get caught in a short squeeze and the mother of all short squeezes, just how bad is that aftermath going to be? Especially as Darren has tweeted, he said as of the CAT system implementation, retail now owns 98.75% of the float on AMC. It seems we've received a new update, I think this is from Webull, suggesting that institutions own 1.2% of the float, insiders own 0.02% of the float, and retail holds nearly 99% of the float. Which to me suggests there's at least 2 or 3 or 4 times the float sold over, because institutions, at least from their reported positions, are holding way more than just 1% of the float. Same with insiders. The math at this point quite literally does not compute. The math doesn't math, and institutions should be holding more than that, but it's because retail investors are holding way more than just one float. And finally, Susan has tweeted about a peek into the upcoming Korean short detection system, saying if there's a mismatch between a sell order and the outstanding balance, the transaction will be automatically reported to the authorities. So it seems actually it's very, very, very easy to detect synthetic shorting, and this is clearly something the US does not do. South Korea is expecting its illegal short detection system to be ready by Q1 of 2025, so in around half a year's time. It says a new South Korean stock market monitoring system to detect illegal short selling is expected to be implemented from the first quarter of 2025. On top of that, short selling in South Korea won't be resumed until that detection system is in place. This is clearly a country that is siding with retail investors. It's a country that does not want illegal shorting in their markets. It's a country that can easily detect and eradicate illegal shorting as well. Now that is something I wish and I hope the US will also implement sometime in the future, but ideally now, but at least sometime in the future after the squeeze. So guys, be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always guys, be sure to ding that notification bell, because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers.